Okay, so like she said, my name is Jenny. I had planned to take the fort back. I took Block 1 last semester. I had it set up, I was going to take the fort back in June. So I studied by making note cards. I got a lot of study materials from friends who had, like, from a friend who had passed it. So I just went through practice tests. The night before my test, unforeseen thing came about and I was unable to go take my test the next morning. So I didn't get to take it till July. I did the same thing I did the first time around. I just used my note cards, same study materials, same practice tests, and I I failed the first time around, and then the second time, technically the second time I took it, I came and I actually got help from Lindsay. She helped me study the essays. And then I used the site through UW-Madison. I don't know if anybody knows of that site, but you can go on and there's like a whole bunch of practice tests, a whole bunch of like lessons. It's kind of like a course you have to take, or you don't have to take it, but like there's this course. But I only used the practice quizzes after each section. And the really nice thing about that was after each question, if you got like it wrong, it explained why it was wrong. And if you got it right, it explained why it was right. So that really helped me. And then I ended up passing that time by like 20 some points. So that was really the only thing I did different. So that's my story. But that's what really helped me, was knowing why the questions were wrong. And a lot of the questions are the same ones on practice tests we've all taken. But knowing why it's wrong or why it's right, that really helped me out a lot. So.
Okay. Well, my name is Chelsea, and I also took Block 1 last semester, and I've actually passed my test the first time, which I don't know how, but I did it. But I also used the UW-Madison site, which is very helpful. I would definitely recommend using that site because I think it really, really helped me out. But I don't know, I guess piece of advice couple things I'd say, make sure you know where your testing center is and like where, because like I had no idea where my testing center was, so like I Google mapped it and I just like made sure, like I also kind of went and tried to find the entrance of the building just so I knew. I don't know, get a good night's sleep, eat a good breakfast, all those kind of things. And also, I don't know if Lindsay's told you this, but this actually helped me out. So it's like 100 multiple choice questions, then you have your 2 essays. And so how I split it up was I did 50 multiple choice and then an essay, then the other 50 multiple choice and then the essay. And that actually helped out a lot. So I would definitely recommend doing it that way. So you can kind of break things up a little bit. And I think that's all I have to say.
All right. My name is Elizabeth, and I was also in Block 1 last semester. So we got done with Block 1 sometime in the middle of May. So then I went that first Monday after we got done. I went like right away because I'm like, I don't want to forget anything. So I went right away, and I ended up passing somehow miraculously right away. And what I did, I actually found a different website that had resources on it, and I went to, it's called Teacher Test Prep. So I just Googled different test resources for the fort test, and I found this, and it had a full, it was a fort test, like practice questions, but it was different than the ones that we had used, so I thought that was kind of cool. It was really, really hard, and so when I took it in Block 1, right away I got like 80 of them before we had done anything. And then when I took this one, after we had had the entire semester of classes, I only got like 50 of them right, so I was really freaking out because I took this practice test, and it was like, yeah, you're going to fail. But I don't know if maybe they were harder and they prepared me more, but they also had the explanations for it. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, passed off.
Hi, I'm Brittany. I ended up taking the fort test 3 times. So my little bit of advice saying that is don't get discouraged. And another reason why I failed 3 times, well, I failed 2 times, is because I didn't prepare myself adequately. The first time I took it in, I think, the end of June after Block 1, which was last semester for me. And I was like, oh, I got this in the bag. I just took Block 1. I'll be fine. I didn't study or anything, and I went in there, and the test score showed me otherwise. So I got a 218 after my first test. And I made the mistake of signing up right away to retake it a second time. And I prepared myself half-heartedly, went in there, and I did even worse. I got a 206 on my second attempt, and I was devastated. I couldn't handle the thought of me not being a teacher. So I talked to Peggy, and she was wonderful and helped tutor me for 5 weeks. Every Monday and Wednesday, she set aside time to help me go through questions. And then I also used the Madison website, and I went through each module. They offer the 10 modules on the website, and then I worked through each module, which is, they do a fantastic job of having it set up. And then they offer a quiz at the end of each module. So if I was going through quiz 1 and I was doing really, really well, I would just move on to module 2. But if I was struggling through a module, I would go back, read the material again, and then retake the quiz. So that helped me out a lot. And then some other testing tips for you guys. I'm very kinesthetic. If you watch me, I'll sit up here and I'm really jittery and I have to move. So when it comes to test taking, I physically need to cross things out and, touch something. So what Peggy suggested for me with my learning style was, hey, maybe you should use your dry erase sheets because you will get 2 of them at your testing center. And just write out A, B, C, D, and then just physically cross out the answers that you know aren't correct, because otherwise I will just sit there and keep rereading them over and over, and then I will get confused, and then that's not a very good testing strategy. So I did that, and then I actually took a break. I kind of did what Chelsea said. I did the 50 multiple choice, and then an essay, and then I took a 10-minute break just to give my brain a little break and get some fresh air. And then I came back and I tackled the last half of the test, and I did significantly better. I went from a 206 to a 254. So that's my bit of testing advice for you guys. That really helped me out a lot. So just take the time to prep, and I don't see why any of you in here can't pass. So.
All right, I'm Brian. I also took Block 1 last semester. My biggest piece of advice would just be to calm down. You're going to be all right. Pass it. Just take a deep breath. Especially, and then another thing is, beware of don't let the little things get to you. Like, let's say test morning. Let's say you can't find the exact building, but you're still 30 minutes early and you're freaking out. Just take a deep breath. You'll be fine. That's one big thing. Another thing, I know I emailed off that UW-Madison course to a bunch of people, off campus here, at UW-Eau Claire, and they said they loved it. It helped them pass it. And then I think my final piece of advice would be listen to Lindsay, Peggy, and Nan. They're the best at their trade. They know what they're doing. Just take what they give you into consideration. Use some of their worksheets to help you study for it. Because listening to them will help you pass it. Because I waited till, I think September to take it the first time. And I passed it fine. So you guys will do all right.
Thank
Question?
you. Let's open it up to your question.
Okay, well, you can give him a hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what's considered, a passing score, a good score?
Well, it's 240 is the benchmark.
Jay, when you had the first time you were supposed to take it, did you get a refund or not? Because
No.
it wasn't, because I think it's
Well-
24 hours you have to cancel.
Okay, so what ended up happening was the night before the test, my best friend passed away. So the next morning, I called, at 7 a.m., I called Pearson and explained the situation, and they're like, you need to call these people. So they didn't open until 8. I was supposed to be at my testing center by 8. So I called them at 8 o'clock, and they're like, you need to apply for a voucher. So I had to fax in a letter explaining everything, as well as an obituary notice or something along those lines. So I did that, and I never heard anything from them. Then a week later, I tried calling them. Nobody answered. I was put on hold, and with my work schedule, it didn't match up with the hours they were open, so that's what I was having difficulty too. I tried faxing my stuff in again, and then I still didn't hear anything, and I tried calling some more. So, and I know because of being summer, I'm sure that was busy test taking time, so if for some reason you can't take your test, keep trying to get a hold of them. Finally, for me, because of the situation, I was done dealing with it. I didn't want to talk about it anymore. So, but I know there was one of our classmates, the morning of the semester she was supposed to take it, the day before she had gotten a concussion. She went to the testing center and then was able to call and like do it that way and got her stuff postponed a week. So if you're not able to take it, fight, because it is a lot of money. So essentially I paid for it 3 times. I only took it 2. So but that I would just keep doing it, but call them right away if for some reason you can't take it.
People still fax? That's still a thing?
Well, apparently it doesn't
Yeah.
work, so.
No, we do that at work all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes?
How do you find that Madison site? Did you just Google it?
Do you have that website, Lindsay? Because I don't really remember.
You can Google it, University of Madison Foundations of Reading Test Prep. It's also linked on our homepage. And I figured after our panel, we could pull up resources again just to continue to direct you, where you could spend some time.
And with that site, you do have to log in and give like your email and stuff, but they don't send you any like spam or advertisements or anything. Basically, the reason you do that is to prove that you're part of the UW system. But so they don't send other stuff, because I know there's some people kind of leery not wanting to put in their information because they don't want to get like junk email. You don't get any of that.
A
So
lot of times they're collecting data on who, you enter
Yeah.
zip code, who and where, and how much is the site being used.
yeah.
If you got a question, I'm sure someone else has the same question, so don't be afraid to ask.
Marlene.
So, Jenny, you said you took it 3 times, and then
I took it twice.
she paid for 3. Oh, so then the first time you took it, you only used note cards and the materials.
Yes.
So how much further were you below that?
I got a 228 the first time I took it, and when I did it the first time, I did like an essay 50 questions, and then when the next time around, I still used my note cards and did practice tests, but I also did the UW site, and I jumped from a 228 or 228 to a 252.
So the site really helped you?
Yes, a lot.
So did you just put like vocab words on your note cards, or?
I put vocab words. I put for like the essays, like the possible like for the comprehension, like the literal, inferential, like
what those mean?
yep. I put all that type of stuff on there too.
When I took my test, I did 33 questions-ish, and then an essay, then 33 more questions and an essay. So it's kind of like the same concept. But make sure you use a lot of the questions, like vocab words from the questions, and put them in your essays. Use the test to take the test. That's
That's good.
that's my piece of advice.
How long do you get to take the test?
It's like 2
4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours.
I took 3.5 hours on mine the 3rd time I took it because I wanted to make sure that I read each question thoroughly, and that helped out drastically as well.
And you said you took a break, didn't you?
Yes, I took a 10-minute break.
Do they offer you that, or do you have to ask for it?
You have that. Your time keeps ticking when you take your break.
And it depends on the testing center too, how it works.
Right.
Where you're at.
So where did you guys take it?
I
took
went to
mine.
Fenimore.
I went to Freeport, Illinois, because that's where I'm from. So.
Yeah, I was home in Davenport, Iowa, so.
But you have the choice of doing like questions, essays, so that you can do it however you want.
Yeah, you
It's
can
all
navigate.
on there.
And you can always go back to a question you just like pass by. Like I don't know the answer to this question. I'm come back later. You can always go back.
Flag
to
it, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you go back to the essay?
Yeah.
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 Building on what Brian said, I've heard students that say they were writing the essay and there was a word that they wanted to use, but they just couldn't quite get it. And they would continue on the multiple choice, and all of a sudden there's the word, and they think, that's it. You can go back into your essay and make a revision. That's smart test taking.
And when I took my essay, like for the first time around, so I got a 2 on my essays. The second time around, for my running record, they were the same essays. I ended up getting the same one, and the hard thing was I didn't know what I did wrong the first time. So then I made sure I pulled words from the questions. I said I pulled bigger words into my essay to make sure, but I guess it helped because I got a better score on my essays. But that was really tough too, so I got the same essays.
Molly,
Is it written or is it
it's all on
on the
computer.
computer?
All it's on computer.
Yep.
I like to write stuff down though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they give you paper, right?
Yeah.
Either dry erase,
Dry
or
erase
dry
or
erase.
paper,
Depends on where you're
yeah.
at.
Yeah.
I have a question. Did any of you try, we taught the umbrella with the
Oh, yeah.
fun
Oh,
lines.
The
Uh-huh.
second time I
I
wrote
did
it, I wrote
that.
it
Draw
down.
that
Yep, the
physically?
second time I did.
Did it help with the 35%? Oh, it did.
Well, My problem was I forgot about it. I wrote it down, and then afterwards I was like, oh. But I also
might
felt more
also be
prepared the second
really
time I
do
took
it.
it. Yeah.
That was the first thing I did when I got to my, like, as soon as I sat down, I did that umbrella thing and drew that out just so I would
Did
just
it help
have
you,
it.
Chelsea? Say yes.
I mean, I think it did. I don't remember, that was in June. That was a long time ago. So
I'll
I
be
don't
honest, it
remember.
helped me, but I'm so visual. So I remember things with pictures very well. So when I drew it out, it helped, bring back some of the information I learned in class and stuff too.
35% of the test, the largest
Yeah.
part is all about the
Yep.
foundation, early reading. Peggy and I are working on a presentation right now on attacking this test. So that understanding that deeply is important for that, a third of the test.
Yes.
How much time did all of you guys have at the end of the test? Just curious to see about breaks and stuff. Like, were you guys able to take breaks or?
I didn't take a break, and both times it was like I only took like 2 hours, 2:20 on mine.
I hear a lot of 2.5 or 3 hours.
That was about me too, and I didn't take a break either.
So you do know that you could build in a break.
Yeah.
I'd say I took a 10-minute break and I still had a half hour
Is
left,
it
so.
like the same type of environment as like the practice test?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mine was.
Well, I guess I never took mine computer-based, my practices and stuff.
It's pretty much. It's
You
just
get
a
to
very
yell at
quiet
You're in a little
room, little cubby. I don't know. My
you guys
room
get
was
like
cold.
the noise canceling
Yeah,
headphones if you
yeah.
wanted them?
The ones where I was at, they had little earplugs
Yeah.
next to
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was playing with them for a little while.
And
It's,
if noise
too
really
quiet.
bothers you, I would suggest using like the headphones or the earpieces if they're there. Just because like when I took it, I was the first one in there. Half hour later, someone else came in, so then I was dealing with that noise. And then a half hour later, someone else came in, and so like I probably should have used them, but I didn't. So if the noise really bothers you, it might be something you might want to consider doing, is putting those in, at least when the people are coming in and out.
Well, and I use mine, and like I could put them on and take them off. So it's like I put them, like I didn't have them on at first, and then somebody came in and they were typing, and it was like just driving me crazy. So then I put them on, and then after a while it was like too much on my head, so then I took them out. So it's like back and forth. So yeah.
I had a question about some content. I've worked with students in the tutoring thing, and several of them have been worried about English language learners, questions about that. Did you have quite a few?
I did. I had a bunch of them.
I had a good chunk of it, yeah.
Thing I would think about on content, there's a lot of like middle grade stuff.
Yes.
Like 3 through 8. Because I wasn't expecting that, because I know we did our block 1, it was all like pre-K through like 2. And we got a lot of, which are more like more block 2 concepts, like the 3 to 8, the 3rd grade to 8th grade. There's a lot of that. I know there's a lot of middle school questions on there too.
I got a lot of 6th graders.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and when I got those, like, I just had your guys' voices in my head, like, good instruction is good instruction. It doesn't matter what level it's at. And then I was able to kind of sift through that a little bit and kind of put my blinders onto that, I guess.
I went with whatever was like more explicit instruction, like you guys keep saying over and over and over again. Every answer that was like more explicit rather than implicit, that's the one I went with.
The test is biased towards explicit instruction, not like go off and read and I hope you'll figure out vocabulary words, but more, directly teach these to your students. One thing that I know is coming up is those of you with your eyes towards student teaching, there is a date that you need to have the fort passed in order for clinical experiences to make a placement for you. And I think we'll be explicit about this so that you don't have the I never knew. Is it
May 1st.
Okay, there you go, May 1st. So think about this. A lot of you will be taking Reading Lit 2. I know when we talk with professors at other colleges, they often say, 2 full semesters of reading classes and then take your fort. You are up against a deadline. I don't know, Nan and I often have said, take it as soon as block 1 is over, get the first time,
Yes.
try under your belt.
That's what I would recommend doing because you don't find out your scores for 4 to 5 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's a big
So you just
time
realize
frame in
if you
between.
don't even try to take it until March 20th, you're
You
really
only have-
only going to get one shot before that student teaching deadline falls. So there's a value to doing some self-study on the University of Wisconsin website. Take the test, build a cushion in case you do need to take it multiple times.
Did you have to wait a period of time after you got your scores to sign up again?
No.
Or did you
Nope.
just sign up right away?
I signed up right away.
Okay.
How long would you recommend like studying for like before the test? Like if we on block 1 right now, when would you say is a good time to actually like sign up to give yourself enough time to like study for it?
I took 5 weeks to study, and and sometimes I still feel like that wasn't enough. So I recommend studying now as you're learning these things, and it will help you. That's just my personal advice.
And that definitely depends on your studying styles,
Right.
because I'm a crammer. So
I'm
I mean, I made my note cards and stuff ahead of time, but I like studied like 3 days beforehand, and then I would study like on my break at work and at night and stuff, because I can't study that far in advance, because otherwise I lose what I've already studied. I'm just not that well of a test taker in the first place. So.
Well, and I took it that week right after we had finished finals. So I had that weekend that I took my practice test, and then I took it that Monday. So it was, I mean, but again, it depends on your learning style and how you normally study.
Because it's meant to be a difficult test. I mean, so take the time that it's allotted to study for it. So it's not meant to be, oh, I got it, I'm passing it. No, it's meant to be a more difficult test. So.
I think another like little thing, I think kind of, it helped me, it's like a mental thing, is I found like me and a friend went to take it on the same day. So like rather than being in the car by myself and like psyching myself out before this test, like I was distracted, like I just another confidence thing, I guess. It worked for me.
Have a study buddy and a
Yeah.
test taking buddy.
Yeah.
Well, in my second time around, I was in the car on the way, and like the CD player, where the CD I had in had "Call Me Maybe" on it, and it was like more of an upbeat song. I played that on repeat all the way to Fenimore, and like I'm only like 20 minutes, but it was upbeat, and because I was there by 8 in the morning, so like it got me going, and it really helped because it took my mind off of it for a while, and it was upbeat. And are you laughing at me down there? No. But I did. It was like I listened to it it's like 20 minutes from my house. I listened to it all the way there just because it was.
It's the little things that can make the big difference.
Yeah.
Get a coffee on the way. I don't know.
Any other questions?
You got one?
So once you answer all the questions, is it submitted?
No.
No.
You can go back
always
to
go
it.
back.
So it's just like a process, you go through and you go back.
You can like flag it. Like I'm not for sure on this one. I can go back to it. You can just.
Yeah, I flagged a lot of my questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Even if you don't flag it, you can still go back and look.
Right.
And you should do that.
Yeah.
Because I went back through and I missed one. Like
Let's give
completely
them a
didn't
round
answer
of
it.
applause. Thank you for volunteering.